Hello, guys, and we have some nightly crypto news for you. Another swap was annihilated. This time, Kyberswap. Unfortunately, this is one of the older swaps, and it was a decentralized swap. It got hacked for $48 million. And now that the hacker has all your money hostage, he wants to open up negotiations. As a consequence of this hack, Kyber's TVL tanked a whole 68%. So it is effectively pawned at this point, and it probably isn't coming back anytime soon because there are other swaps for people to move to, and they're more likely to move to those other swaps because, when you get hacked like this, it does take a little while or a long time for you to gain trust. So the decentralized exchange had over 80 million in total value locked. That's not a lot for TVL, obviously, but you just lost over half your TVL for $48 million. So they've been attacked for nearly $50 million. And the administrators are advising users to withdraw all funds as precautionary measure as the explorer says negotiations will soon commence. Yes, I stole all your money and now we're going to negotiate for the release. That's how all this works. Folks, if you want to negotiate, you better have something that you hold hostage. In this case, it's $48 million. So most of the funds are being stolen in Ethereum, which is no surprise because this is, I think, an ERC20 exchange. And it's also being stolen in USDC. And the attacker has also hit multiple cross-chain deployments of Kyberswap. So if you're doing a cross-chain of Kyberswap, your money might be gone too. And they took over 20 million in Arbitrum, 15 million from Optimism, and 7 million from Ethereum. So the earlier amount of Ethereum I referred to was wrapped Ethereum. And of course, so the main losses are wrapped Ether, which is WETH, USDC, Arbitrum, Optimism, and Ethereum. So you might see a sell-off of those coins if they can't make a deal to free your hostage money, which I'm not really sure if they will be able to. So they've ruled out this being a bug in the DEX's approval authorization code. I mean, the hacker basically has said, I'm going to start negotiations. So that kind of kills all the possibility of a bug. And it definitely is an attack against the liquidity pools themselves. And of course, he actually left a message saying, "Dear Kyberswap developers, employees, DAO members, and LPs, negotiations will start in a few hours when I am fully rested." So this guy stole the money and he's going to sleep knowing that he stole your money. I hope they find out who he is and send the ninjas after him, the Fed ninjas. But I doubt that's actually going to happen. And the author also asked, how is Ontario this time of the year? I think we definitely need to up the standards for security in the swap and DEX phase because we're seeing these hacks so often now. And it's going to be hard to get anyone to actually trust you if you can't secure these protocols. And we're not being able to secure these protocols in the industry all that much. He's even teasing the victims, which means he's just asking for a roundhouse kick to the face. And he's signing transactions with strings of text is increasingly common trend with decentralized finance exploits. Of course, the DEX value has reduced to $22.2 million, and it's down from $80 million before the hack. So I think this is kind of dead at this point. It wasn't really that big to begin with, but I think this might be the finishing move to kill Kyberswap, which is kind of sad because I actually used Kyberswap back in the elder days before all the other swaps came around. So yeah, not a very good situation. If you lost money on the exchange, I really hope that negotiations can get your money back because otherwise it's a really sticky situation. And an appeals court has rejected SBF's bid for release. Now remember, he's being held for his second trial right now. His sentencing doesn't actually start until March. So they cited witness tampering as the main grounds for rejecting his release bid. So witness tampering means intimidating witnesses. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried forgot he's not actually Donald Trump, so he can't actually do this and get away with it. Because, he's not an ex-president, so he doesn't really get the leeway that Trump does. So he can't, witness tamper and intimidate witnesses and actually stay out of jail because he doesn't really have a mob or a cult, following him. So the judges basically have no trouble for basically saying that, hey, you're going to jail. So essentially what he did last time is he tried to discredit Carolyn Ellison. Now, you're allowed to do that in court, but you're not allowed to have your own PR campaign against like witnesses, against people who are testifying, and against like judges and stuff like that. You're not actually allowed to do that outside of like court. You can obviously discredit them in court because that's really your court case, but you can't really like you really can't like really like intimidate them to say other like intimidate them to act in a way you want outside the court in a PR campaign, which is what Sam Bankman-Fried was actually doing. So we have reviewed the defendant appellant's additional arguments and find them unpersuasive. So he is going to stay in jail, which is probably a good decision. And of course, government prosecutors accused SBF of leaking Carolyn Ellison's diaries to the New York Times in July, which was considered witness tampering because that is a way that he's actually using to maybe get Carolyn to think twice about saying what she wants to say. Obviously, it didn't work because Carolyn went ahead and said it anyways, but I'm glad they actually blocked him. Remember, he has another court case due in a couple of months, and he's being charged with 5 more crimes. So he could be in total accused of 12 accounts of fraud, money mismanagement, and stuff like that. Right now, I think he's like in line for 20, 30 years in jail. After the 5 more, he could be in for 40, 50 years in jail. So I'm glad they actually denied his request to be released. CZ may not be allowed to leave the United States. They want him to stick around for Wednesday's sentencing next week. And they say he's a risk for flight, which honestly, he probably is. If you let him go back to the UAE, he may not come back Wednesday for sentencing. Because, like, yes, he's being fined right now. But at this point, like, he can give the money and not go to jail. But if you want to sentence him to a jail term, you wouldn't actually let him out the United States. I really don't think he's actually going to jail. I know the crypto community is a lot more positive towards SBF than, CZ than SBF, because CZ didn't actually steal any of their money. And a lot of people are very dubious of some of the charges that were actually pressed against him. So CZ might have to stay in the United States until Wednesday, which is next Wednesday. And that might actually be because, like, if they decide to sentence him to jail, like, he would actually be here to actually serve that jail term. I don't know if he's going to appeal that or not. I don't think he can appeal because he actually pleaded guilty. But we'll see how that actually goes. The new Binance CEO has actually said that the foundations are strong. And actually, like, a lot of people have reviewed Binance's finances. And basically, like, someone's like, I backed out Binance corporate crypto holdings from their proof of reserves, 6.3 billion total assets, 3.19 billion in stablecoins. Doesn't include off-chain cash balances or funds held in the wallets not in POR. Most likely able to pay full 4.3 billion DOJ fine with 0 crypto asset sales. Now, that might be a little bit misleading because Binance actually owes a total of like $8.7 billion. Because remember, they don't only owe the DOJ and the CFTC, they also owe a lot of money to like FinCEN and the OSS. So they have like a total of over $8 billion and they only have 6.3 billion in total assets. So they might have to sell some assets. And like some of the cryptos they have obviously are Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, USDT, BUSD, USDC, LTC, XRP, Sol, Link, 1inch. They have a bunch of cryptos. They might have to liquidate some of them. I do actually believe that they probably have to sell off some assets to actually pay off all the fines. Although they have 16 months to do it, and they shouldn't actually affect the price all that much, especially with like BlackRock, Fidelity, and a lot of the others actually coming up to buy any assets that they actually might sell because they're trying to get into the crypto market. So the new CEO saying like our fundamentals of our business are very strong, and he's going to focus on Web3, working with regulators and basically working within regulations. So Binance is going to try to come across a lot cleaner. And he's going to reinstate investor confidence. Now, I think a lot of users of Binance didn't actually lose confidence in Binance because their money wasn't taken away from them. It's not like SBF, FTX crashed and they lost their money. CZ didn't actually like lose any of their money, so they're still able to withdraw fines. So I still think a lot of the users of Binance will continue to use Binance. And of course, this new CEO is Binance's former global head of regional markets, and that seemed a natural progression of the company's evolution. So CZ further confirmed his plans to remain associated with Binance as a shareholder, adding, "I will remain available to the team to consult as needed, consistent with the framework set out in our U.S. agency resolutions." So he's not going to step back in the company, obviously, within 3 years, but he was able to stay a majority shareholder within the company. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.